All still getting there. I can see one, two, the Jeep one coming around as well. She's looking down, but pick it up.
Hi everyone, John McLeod from Macbet. I'm just going to go over the dismal display on Saturday. We sort of got ourselves into a little bit of trouble. There was a couple of races there that I was quite keen to play on, and they just didn't get into the right spots for mine. But we've had a few chances at good odds as well. That only getting beaten about a length at good odds, and they were running actually fourth. So if everyone was on the each way, it was a real pain day. As far as the track goes, I thought the inside part of the track was definitely off, just like we suggested. You can see our bias down here. We were thinking the two first and second lanes would be no good, the third lane wouldn't be too bad, and then out from there it probably extended about one more lane. I think the four to eight lane was the right place to be, but maybe even a little bit further out was okay as well. As far as the day goes, it's going to be pretty tricky this day because I just don't like how the sectionals sort of played, and it was a very tricky track. You can see the sectionals this first race, they've gone out slow and come home a bit fast. Ours was the opposite. So, I'm very worried about the sectionals this race. To the eye, looks like on ours, they went out pretty fast, and they it was, the winner hit the line pretty good, Joymaker. So I just don't know what to make of this race. Joymaker, I was sort of thinking that it wouldn't get the distance, but there was a few that was a bit of a doubt. Same with Twilighter, and like horses like these other ones, Dashing Special and Brando and everything, Travesty, they're getting going round and round sort of thing. So it was just a poor race. We stayed out of that one. You can see what we finished up doing on the day. We did about 6,500, so it wasn't that crash hot. This next race, we bet up in this race, as we said in the on the audio and everything. Kisakano was just a nice bet. Got out to around about the 210, maybe a touch more at one stage, just because of it on Betfair, wouldn't go in the gate. So it got out to around the 240, 250 mark at one stage. I was on it at the 210. You can see what we did. We had 5,000 on it, but we had 800 on the bottom one, and the Quinella and the Exacta just failed. It was Tycoon Evie just got nutted by Mishani Miss right on the line, so that would have been a little bit extra for us. So that was a bit disappointing, but we finished up getting away with 3.5 on that race, but we did have to invest a fair bit. This next race, we bet along here as well. I thought Titanium had a chance, but I was worried about the way how the track was, and it had the inside gate. And as I said on the audio, the wetter the track is, the worse Titanium will go, and probably the better Super Contender will go. Now, what happened was Super Contender stayed on this inside part. I was really surprised Michael Carl doing that. And the improving horse, Lovestruck, just come down the right part of the track, and it was able to blow him away. You can see our pre-race price was around about that, but our price was 12s, so it was a bit of a question mark, this horse. So we had to, when I seen the money come for it, I went back and had a look at it, and I changed it a little bit just to see where I could get it, but and that's what I could get it to, $6, but I didn't believe it. I just thought one of these two would win, Super Contender or Titanium. So I think Super Contender went really good. We've black booked it. Lovestruck went quite good as well. We've sort of half black booked it, but it did come on the better part of the track. What did we do on that? We did 2,600, so we knocked off nearly our win on the second race. This third one, this was a pain race for me. She's a Boss, we had it longer. His two runs were really good. We've made some changes just because of the few things that we've found after this race, why we had it a bit longer. But it was just a really good win, as its last couple of runs were. Like its last start, it sort of got knocked down and pushed wide when a horse fell, and then was able to still circle him and win. So it's been going really well. I just thought going from a Class 2, I think it was, into this race was a big jump. So I was, just a bit concerned by it. I was worried about Woman of Gold getting the distance, but I sort of had a good bet on Kedar, who sat a little bit wide. He needs blinkers, this horse. He sort of dropped out at around about the 500, and then he came to the line pretty good at the end. So definitely a blinkers horse. So I just got to keep an eye on it. And we had a good bet on it around the $18, and I sort of went to water on Woman of Gold, thinking I don't want to knock off 600. I'll try to just get something back because it's going to get into the okay position. I thought it would get away from the fence, and she just didn't finish off the last little bit. I think the 1400 is a worry. She's a Boss was just too strong. It just cruised into the race and won well. So what are we doing? As far as the sectionals go, again, they're a bit different. They've got them just going fast, both sectionals, which are, I can see them doing that because the way that She's a Boss went, but we had it going a lot faster early than this, and that sort of made, the way that She's a Boss cruised into the race, come to the corner, maybe the leaders were just giving up and white flagging it, and that's what I think happened. So I'm more leaning towards what sectionals we have in that race. In the next race, what do we do here? This is a race where I was concerned with Glen Ord with the plates on, the concussion plates on, but I just thought it was going to get into a soft position and maybe Musa Red would go to the fence and stay there with Wiggins on. He actually did that, so I was actually looking to back Glen Ord, but then the money crashed in and it came in way too short for mine. As you can see, we got him 250 and 316, but Glen Ord, I was just thinking to myself that 250 Glen Ord is ridiculous. For myself, it come into 290, so I thought I'd rather be on Musa Red and take the punt that Wiggins is going to get away from the fence. So I went that way and saved on pretty much Glen Ord. And as it turned out, Musa Red rolled into the fence, and this momentum to win was able to nail it right on the line. So that was a bad result again. I played in a race where the percentages weren't in my favour there, and I just played. The next race, what do we do here? I backed Return to Honour. Return with Honour. I just thought there was really good speed up front, and Return with Honour coming to the middle of the track. I thought he'd blow these away. Now, I think this track just didn't suit him. A little bit of sting out of the track. He's a real turn of foot horse, and he just couldn't show his turn of foot. So that was a problem for it. A couple of these horses didn't go forward as well. Like Acrobatic went back, he grabbed hold out of the gate, so the speed wasn't as strong as what we had it. We were thinking that it was quite good up front, so it was disappointing. I thought Return with Honour, we could see we have 3,000, but I have got in the back of my mind that it was possibly the track, because the trial was too good. The horse that had beaten the trial come out later in Sydney, or not beat, but it went as good as it. The Thing of Hawks come out 2 or 3 races later in Sydney after this race and won by about 7 lengths. So I was completely shaking my head when it won by that far, and this thing just plugged down the straight. Race 7, what do we do here? Threw something on Gatsby and Cattersby, and you can see our price. I thought maybe he'd come out a little bit. He did come out a little bit, Taylor Marshall, but he got swamped just that last little bit by Junction, the first up horse, and it was well back, Cattersby. I think we got about 550. We got 550, so just got nailed on the line. Just another little bleed for us. Then the next race, we had a decent bet on Happy Go Lucky. We thought it had a nice chance of sort of going to sit back here and swamp them, and they went along fairly quickly here. You see the figures of the place where we get them off, but our figures was showing that they went out faster than what they showed. So I think that's the case. I think they did go out a bit faster, and horses were able to run on. The unfortunate thing with Happy Go Lucky was he drove it out of the gates. He got into not too bad a spot, running about fourth, fifth or sixth, but he never had much luck down the straight. He was sort of held up, couldn't get a real crack at him, and he's only got beaten about a length and a half at the good odds. So it was a little bit disappointing in that race. Similar thing in this one, I think. We had a good bet on Defence Missile, and he just got pushed into the wrong part of the track. I was sort of clutching at straws by this stage, but I did know he had one gate. I was just hoping he got off. As I said on the audio, I'm just hoping that they all spear out a little bit and gives him a chance to get out to that 5-6 lane. But he was caught on the inside. He's only got beaten about 3/4 of a length, so he went all right. We saved on Pizzoni. We were very lucky to do that. It's just that he got out to the right odds around the 550. We had it 490 and threw something on it. We had something small on How Wonderful Life Is. I didn't know what to think about that horse. I was just trying to save something because I had a decent bet on Defence Missile, and then this one had actually worked, and we finished up getting away with 300. But all in all, only one of the three big bets that we had, came off, and we sort of didn't win too much on that first big bet because we had a few Quinellas and exactas that just didn't fall our way. So it was a pretty disappointing day, and the format of this meeting is going to be questionable, I'm tipping, just because the track is throwing up different types of sectionals from one group to another group. So I'm a bit worried about this trusting the sectionals out of this meeting. Black Bookers, as far as what we're concerned, we had, what do we got? Casacano in that race just went quite good. You see the sectionals were not that far out between the two of them. So, it was a nice win. Super Contender I thought went good just because it was in the inside part of the track. What else? She's a Boss, just flying, came down the middle part of the track, the better part, but it did go good. Moosa Red was rolled back to the inside. Mangroni, not sure about that one. He did sit a little bit wide, that's why I put it in, but it was possibly better to be there. And I think that's about all I black booked. Yep, that's it. All right, we'll be back next Saturday. Not sure where the races are on Saturday. There's Wednesday meeting as well, and then of course probably Ipswich on Friday, and then backing into Caloundra on Sunday next week. All right, that's all from me. I think there's a bit of a Betfair thing competition coming on this Wednesday. I think it's a State of Origin match between I think it's Sydney, Brisbane, or Queensland, New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, and where else? What's the other state that was coming into it? Just not sure who the other was. Not one other one. But I'm thinking it's going to be a bit of fun. There's a couple of teams. We're two on each team, and you'll see a bit more about it from Betfair if you look on Twitter and everything. It's going to be a few bets from us in Queensland. I think Shane Curlio and myself on Team Queensland. So we'll see what the Mad Hatter comes up with. He's been flying of late, and maybe I might be able to find some form and help him out a bit. All right, cheers everyone. See ya.